This is an iHeart podcast. Guaranteed human.
You are now listening to Vigilantes Radio, presented by the only one media group. This is the people's choice for quality interviews, celebrities, and special guests. Hosted by Demetrius Reynolds. Call in to join the mix at 701-801-9813. For the complete archive of episodes, visit onlyonemediagroup.com and be sure to like us on Facebook at Vigilantes Radio. We welcome all. Enjoy the show. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome your host, Demetrius Whodini Blak Reynolds. Enjoy the show.
All right. What is up, guys? Welcome to another incredible episode of Vigilantes Radio live right here on iHeart Radio. And my name is Deanie. This particular episode is pre-recorded, and I can't wait to deliver it to you guys who subscribe to the show. You'll be the first to know, and I always appreciate that. All right, before I bring my guest on, I do want to say that this is the frequency of the fearless. Tonight's conversation is about more than a board game. It's about culture, it's about education, financial literacy, representation, and creating something that can spark conversations between generations. Because some games entertain people, but some games teach people how to think, communicate, and see themselves differently. And that's where Black Blocks is built to do exactly that. At a time when attention spans are shrinking and meaningful conversations inside families are becoming rare, tonight's guest created an experience designed to bring people back to the table. Not just to play, but to learn, reflect, and connect. This is a conversation about turning history into interaction, about turning strategy into life lessons, about showing young people that knowledge of self, culture, and finances can become power when applied intentionally. Because education hits differently when it feels personal, when it feels cultural, when it feels alive. And tonight, we're talking to a creator who saw a gap in the marketplace and decided not to complain about it, but build something powerful enough to fill it. So whether you're a parent, educator, entrepreneur, student, or someone who simply believes learning should inspire people instead of boring them, this conversation is for you. You're not just here for a talk show, and this isn't just radio. This is revival for your mind, body, and spirit. This is Vigilantes Radio Live. My name is Coach Deanie, and change is possible. I hope you're ready.
You're listening to the Vigilantes podcast on iHeart Radio. I'm Mo, founder and owner of Noah Guy Heating and Air Conditioning. We're giving away 12 free HVAC systems this year, and if you or someone you know needs one, apply now at knowaguyhvac.com. To grow this mission, we're also seeking sponsors and donations. So let's change lives one system at a time. This is Vigilantes podcast on iHeart Radio.
Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? Well, let's go. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, driven by a passion for Black history, financial literacy, and community empowerment, our guest tonight, David E. Rogers, created a board game called Black Blocks. It's a unique educational experience combining strategic gameplay, real-world financial decision-making, and interactive Black history challenges. Like, where was this when I was in high school? Oh my goodness. Anyway, through life cards and fate cards, the game encourages players to think critically, communicate openly, and connect more deeply with culture, with history, and practical life skills. What makes this vision even more powerful is the intention behind it. Black Blocks was designed not only to entertain, but to spark meaningful conversation between generations. As I mentioned before, it strengthens identity through education and give young people tools that traditional classrooms often overlooked. Anyway, through this game, through creativity, through storytelling and purpose-driven innovation, David E. Rogers is proven that learning can be engaging, empowering, and transformational all at once. So please join me in saying welcome, friend, to David E. Rogers. Hey, what's going on? Welcome to the show.
Hey, Danny, thanks for having me. It's great to be here.
Absolutely, David. We are excited to have you on, man. Not only am I excited, but I shared it with my family. We play family games on Friday nights. And before we get into the meat and potatoes of everything, David, what's been on your heart and mind lately?
Well, lately it's all been about, Black Blocks board game, and getting it out there to the masses. There's something drives me that want to leave a legacy, something value, even to my own kids. When I think about the generation right now, everyone, say 40 and under, right? A lot of times they don't know their own history back to the 60s. And so for me, what's been on my mind is just trying to get the game going and, spread the word to as many people as possible. Because I think, especially I would say in the African American, missing out on a lot of our history knowledge. And also there's a financial literacy piece that we've been lacking as well, that we really get caught up on to kind of level the playing field. Because if we don't level the playing field ourselves, no one's going to do it for us.
About that. So David, if you don't mind, man, just share a little bit about your background. You don't have to give us the full TED talk, but I think my listeners would definitely love to know where you're from, what you do, and why you do it.
Well, originally I'm from South Bend, Indiana. I currently live in the Bay Area, and Bay Area of California. People unclear about that. My background goes from, growing up, grew up in Black community. My first impression was back when I remember when Black people actually had ownership of gas stations, bookstores, grocery stores, and we actually had power. I'll say actual power, and I would say power. It wasn't really individual power; it was group power. Like what I see today is more individual thing. We have to bring things together. But my background, just back to my background. I'm sorry, I went off tangent. My background, like I said, I graduated from Purdue University. I've been in corporate America most of my life. I've written 13 books, and I've published 13 books and fiction. And I mean, my first love is always writing. But the game was also part of history. And I wanted to write something, but to do something that would leave a mark, educate people at the same time, giving people something to do while they can have fun. And that was kind of like the genesis of the game. It's just trying to create something where it's educational and fun at the same time, and to add value to people. So, I mean, everyone plays a lot of these games, and they're empty. At the end of the day, they're empty. You play a regular game of Monopoly, at the end of the day, it's empty. What do you learn from Monopoly? But in Black Blocks game, you're going to learn about African American history. You're going to learn about financial literacy. but also you're going to want to go further past the game. The game is just going to scratch the surface. It's really to help people want to know more. When they find out, like I say, who created the first working model of a cell phone, right? Those things like that, we should know. We should know who the person is, right? But a lot of people don't know who those people are. And so game starts there, and hopefully people can research more past that. But like I say, hopefully that gave you somewhat of my background. I'm sorry.
Yeah, indeed. And man, you wear quite a few hats, and I'm very impressed with the work you do and the work you've done, especially for the community, especially for your family, yourself. For people hearing about Black Block for the first time, what is the game at its core?
Oh, at its core, it's a powerful, I would say at its core, it's a powerful tool to help bridge families together, but also help families learn together, and also families connect. I think to me, it's more of a building blocks of community, just not just having fun, but people learning things that no one knew. And like you'll be surprised on people I've played with, and they're 70, 80 years old, some 60, some 50, some even 30s, and they have no clue on some of the basic things of history. And so my thing is, at the core, it's really, it's a community building mechanism for families to
have you identified any gaps where family are not really connecting? Maybe there's we know in today's time, schedules are crazy, even for children who are involved in extracurricular curriculum. Anyway, additional sports and things to do after school. Can't get the word out. But and then parents who work full time. Are you finding there's a gap or a crisis going on where families are not connecting over dinner or board games?
No, yeah, it's a huge disconnect, and this just isn't just the Black community. I think it's like kind of like an epidemic in every community. Is that people nowadays, kids are more on their phone, or families don't eat together. People don't watch the same shows because you got all these different platforms for different shows, and and so there's a huge disconnect. And I think that's one of the things that make Black Blocks so necessary, is that brings families together. It takes away the electronics. It goes back to the bare essentials of answering a question, not giving me an abbreviation, not giving me something short, not having to look it up, but now you have to actually think. And I think a lot of times we move thinking out of the equation, because so many people, they'll just, I'm just gonna ask ChatGPT, or I'm gonna do some type of search. And I think what this does is brings us back to connecting, and also learning, finding out who your child really is, and the child can say who their parent is, right? Because I think a lot of us, we've lost our identity as a family, the family unit, and we're getting roles, mixed up. It's like, and so some kids think that they run the house, and some parents let the kid run the house, right? And so at least this right here brings you, sits people down at one time, play a game, you learn, share, and I think it'll help bridge some types of gaps on the relationship and help that part of it.
Yeah, I mean, we could really dive deep into that, how the family dynamics have shifted. And I think it's more so of a generational thing. So yeah, we could really dive deep into that. But um, in your experience, are players stepping into this emotionally or educationally, or a little bit of both?
I would say it starts out educational. Then, as I've noticed, as people, when they start getting things wrong, because the thing is, and I try to first. I want to say this too: is that this isn't just a game. Black people. I was having this conversation the other day, and I was telling someone, I said, Black history is American,
Right.
and everyone can learn from the game. And I don't want, it's a game for Black people. No, this is about, just like the thing of the first, person who created the stoplight, right? Garrett Morgan. That's the stoplight. Black people aren't the only people who use the stoplight. So those things are important. I mean, if you look at, Juneteenth, Juneteenth is a holiday that companies get off, right? Not just Black people. Everyone gets off that day, right? And so can't exclude Black history from America. And so that's first. And I think, but back to the game and getting emotional about it. When people feel like they know Black history, and then they're confronted with no question, find out, the truth, and they get emotional because people feel like they should know these, right? And to a certain degree, some of the questions in the game, some people should know. But it's good to see people when they don't get it right. And I see them like, man, I want to know more. And what I've noticed is that people now want to know more about that subject or something around that subject to educate themselves better. Even they want to also like, hey, they have suggestions of, this should be a question. When you do add more questions down the line, maybe these type of questions should be there as well. So it's been, like I said, it's a good conversation piece. And I mean, I love playing the game. I love playing the game with people, and people who've played it, they've loved it as well.
Absolutely. Have you found that there is like a bunch of conversations sparked because of this game?
Oh yeah, definitely. Because a lot of the conversations that are being, coming is based on people thinking they know this stuff. And it was funny, a friend of mine, he was playing with his family, and his cousin, his niece, they got a discussion thinking that the niece should know these things, right? And the niece is thinking that the mother should know these things, right? And it's kind of interesting to see the back and forth, the family dynamics that go on as well, on what you should know and what you don't know. And then, like I said, my whole point also is this is only going to scratch the surface. Game, play it in fun, but I want people to leave the game and go learn more about your history. Because I'm a firm believer is you can't know where you're going unless you.
Exactly. And if you don't learn that, then history repeats.
Yep, exactly.
So Black Blocks combines Black history and financial literacy.
Yep.
Why do you feel those two subjects belong together?
Well, that's a very good question. I think our history has been tied to financial literacy in a lot of bad ways. And if you look at different spending habits that we have compared to a lot of the other races, especially in America, we build economies, but we don't profit off of it. And so, to me, if you go back in history and you start seeing, like, yeah, you can have, you have based on how slavery went, that's free labor. And then you going through Jim Crow, you go through all these different stages, and then you got, what happened, in Black Wall Street, and all kinds of. Black Wall Street is just a small piece of the things that happen. So the history of how evolved from that and how the financial part shaped us to where we are today, they're intertwined. You can't separate the two.
Yeah. And really, I hope Black Blocks is pinpointing like the truth about the value of the black dollar. I know this game is for all races, and I'm for all races. I believe all lives matter.
Yeah.
There have been certain crimes committed against our community when it comes to establishing our own financial independence. Like you mentioned with Black Wall Street, we know the story behind that. We know the story behind all the black banks that were started in the 1800s, 1900s, 19. Yep. Sad, very sad. But at the same time, when I look at the statistics from 2003 all the way up to 2026, the black dollar is still the prominent dollar. And if we as a people realize our purchase power and really boycott the evils that keep their knees and feet on our necks financially, we know the loan sharks, the ones who give us ridiculous APRs that we'll never get out of. We got to do something about that. And I hope Black Blocks is, I'm not saying like leading like a revolution or anything like that, but at least spark an idea that, hey, we got to do better. We got to do something different.
Well, I agree with you, and it's the thing of how many homes you think have monopoly, right?
Man,
and you think, but this game here is educational, and it adds value to the whole family. So many people will play Monopoly, and it's like the end of the day it's empty. Yeah, you can win, but at the end of the day it's empty. With Black Block, you're going to learn something. You're going to learn about the Apollo Theater. You're going to learn about Edmund Pettus Bridge in Selma, where Black Bloody Sunday happened. You're going to learn about Black Wall Street, Sweet Auburn Avenue in Atlanta. You're going to learn about different spaces that say, whoa, what is this place? Oh, Harriet Tubman has a museum. All those things that comes out of this game. But then you have questions. You have the life things. And on the game, you have consequences. One of the pieces I have, one of the locations on the board is, you get $300 for reparation. So it's like, it's really diving Black history, Black culture, but also Black state. But I don't want it to just be, because I still want to make sure it's important that people understand, like, Black history is American history, and you can't separate the two.
Right. But man, wow, I can get reparations?
Yeah.
Oh man, I definitely got to check this game out.
but also you get arrested by mistake.
No. This sounds like real life.
It's real life stuff. I mean, I can say it's I mean, it came to me, man, and it was something that I knew I had to do. Wanted to leave a legacy just for my kids to be like, man, you know what? I this is something I value. My dad created this, and but it's just something that I felt in my heart that I wanted to make sure that I shared with them.
Yeah, let's talk about that. The vision, the dream, the inspiration for this game. But I do want to say this. You mentioned a few things that I've never heard of or visited, and it sounds like this could be a pretty good roadmap to a good tour of Black America.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah, nice road trip of some sort, vacation spots.
Yeah, but it helps people think about what these spots are. I mean, 'cause I think because sometimes, if you look back to Monopoly, think, oh, railroad. What railroad are we talking about?
Yeah, right.
But we played it, right? And with no, end of the day, once again, it was empty. At least understand the Apollo Theater. What is that? Because some kids don't know what the Apollo, what it is, what it was, or anything. And so you want people to understand, what was bloody. People don't know what it was. People don't even know where it happened. And we have to kind of bring kids back to understand their past so that they can understand how to shape it.
So let's talk about that vision for a minute. What inspired this game? Like, I need you to paint the picture for us. What was you doing that day? What was going on in your life? How did this moment strike?
I was sleeping. I was literally sleeping. And the first thing that hit me, I was like, there's not a game out there that actually combines Black history and financial literacy together in a fun way, right? And I know that I'm not saying this is the only Black market. There's other Black games. But I hadn't seen a game like that. So for me, it hit me, and I just went to work, and I went to researching to see if it was out there, what kind of, especially like my board is like Monopoly, so I wanted to make sure I wasn't doing any infringing on their copyrights, and so I wanted to make sure I cleared that hurdle. But it really just started from a dream of wanting to do something that was different, but also would add value for the whole generations to come.
All right. So did you have the vision for how it would look? The design?
I would say I had the design, but I didn't have all of the location, the landmark. I hadn't had the landmark. I hadn't shaped what question be valuable game. Like, so the fate cards are, if you land on fate, you have to, opponent picks up the card and they have to ask you a question. So you get the question right, you get $100. You get it wrong, you go all the way back to the start. So, but a lot of times, fate cards, there's 40 fate cards in there. So trying to figure out what questions would be more important, what questions kind of like, oh, I didn't know that. But also I wanted to make sure I questions where people wouldn't. I didn't want it to be so hard. I didn't want it to be like a textbook. So I wanted some of them, some of the question be somewhat easy. So
Mhm.
kind of like this would be what I would call it. It's like, what continent, is the origin of the human?
Yeah, I don't even know that question.
You don't know
what
the
is
answer?
it? What is that? Asia?
Africa.
Africa. Okay.
Yeah. So, but you should have got that one.
Man, I knew it, but I do know the first human they found was African origin.
Right.
All right. Why do you believe financial education is deeply connected to empowerment?
Well, because in order to make certain things move, there's a financial element to everything, right? It's like, yeah, we all want things to happen, and we push this button, try this, try that. But at the end of the day, it comes back to, how are we going to finance? And though it's empowering, it still comes back to financially having to empower it.
I want to talk about different parts of the game. The game includes fate card. I like that. And it's centered around Black history. How did you decide which stories, facts, or themes to include?
Well, that was, like I say, it's kind of, I wanted some to be somewhat, I would say, known. I won't say easy, I say somewhat known. And then I wanted some to be like, man, that's a shocker. Man, I never knew that, right? And so if you think about who invented the dry cleaning process, right? You know?
I don't know.
Right, no, but those are one of the ones that I'm like, I wanted to put out there because people get their clothes dry cleaned all the time.
All the time.
And it's Thomas L. Jennings is the one who created the dry cleaning. It's stuff like that I kind of want to put out there so that people, it's stuff that's part of our regular day life that we take for granted, and then also we don't also share with our kids, and our kids share with their kids, because that's a moment of pride that, if you look at a lot of the great inventions that Black people have created, because a lot of times society has belittled or diminished a lot of African Americans' accomplishments in America. So yeah, this kind of helps bring that back to center on, so kids can say, oh man, we've created a lot, because a lot of times kids don't know that.
Yeah. But I really like the life card. I really like that, what you did with those. You introduced real world financial scenarios and created some realism that's highly important in the gameplay as well as real life. David, what financial lessons do you wish more young people learned earlier?
Oh man, I would say, first and foremost, I would say bank. And I would say also learn, I think, understanding the stock market. I think the stock market is something that kids see all the time, but I think we ignore it too. And a lot of times it's because we don't know. Because I know when I was growing up, I had no clue. I mean, I used to look at the morning before I went to school. I used to see they're ringing the bell. They're ringing the bell. I had no clue what any of that meant. I would see, and growing up in Black community, people that were ringing the bell, I'm thinking, and typically it was all white people. And so I kind of like, would have ignored it and didn't know that that's people determining the lives of people, lives of the whole people in the country. I mean, things that go on during the stock market, kind of like shaping the whole world. When the numbers go up, the numbers go down, it means something, right?
That's right.
But when you're growing up, you have no clue what it. And I think a lot of times, if kids were educated, even in high school, and some of these, it would help them when they get out of high school to shape their future.
I definitely can agree with that and believe that I had to learn that the hard way. Yeah, you mentioned as you were growing up, there were certain things you just didn't understand. So I believe that representation matters deeply in educational products. So growing up, did you feel culturally represented in games or educational tools?
Oh, no, definitely not. Definitely not. I grew up like everyone else, man. Look, we were playing games that say they were empty, and goes back to, you want something that you can feel full on, that you get value out of. And a lot of times when I was growing up, I had to get my heroes outside of my mother. My heroes were people from TV. And so and those were only the people that you knew on TV. So once again, like you said about history being whitewashed, right? I only knew what was on TV.
Right, me too.
Like the stuff that I know, like game Black Blocks, I didn't see that on TV. And so that was also a certain thing of whitewashing as far as the people that got on. Because a lot of times we don't understand. We think that this person, they're the most talented person in the world. But they don't understand there's a process where the door is only going to allow, say, 3 of us, right? And I might know you. And I might be of 20 people, I might be the least talented person, but I know you. So I might be one of the 3 getting in because I know you. And so people don't understand a lot of times when people make it in the world, it's not because the other person isn't as talented. It's just that there's certain criteria that the other person met that the other person did. Sometimes it's who you know is such a factor in people's success and failure.
Yep. Yeah, I always said that, and I even flipped it. I said, they used to say it's who you know. No, I think it's who knows you, because you can know a lot of people, but the person who really can make the moves, if they know you, I think you gotta weigh in.
Yep.
Take it back to Bone Thugs and Harmony. Busy Bone, he knows me just like I know him, and I could easily say to my comrades, I know Busy, but does he know you? And if he doesn't know me, then it doesn't matter.
Right. No, you're 100% right about that.
It don't matter who I know if they don't know me.
Right.
But yeah, man, you were absolutely right. How did that absence of representation shape your perspective of the way of life or the world?
Hungry. It made me hungry. It made want to do better. It was part of the reason why when I started writing books. at first, I used to think like people who wrote books were like, man, I thought they were like aliens. Like, man, how the heck you write a book, right? And then when I finally saw someone normal write a book, and I'm like, whoa, I can do this, right? And I think the thing is, we don't have enough role models that reach out. I think mentorship thing too much. Oh, I have to be in a certain organization. I gotta be that, right? And it's like, and I understand the mentors. There's not a lot, but there should be more mentors. Way more mentors. Because you have a lot of people who are in situations where people have put them there, right? Kind of like, in politics, right? You get the politicians, they get there because people vote for them, right? And so, same way with entertainers, actors, business people, you name it. They get in their position because people help support to get them there, right? And so, to a certain degree, they should be still accountable to those people. And so that's where the mentorship, mentor-mentee should be expanded to bring in more people. Because, yeah, you might meet with one person. That one person isn't enough. You have to open that door up for more people to come in. It's like the doors, to me, the doors aren't open wide enough. They open up for one or two people at a time. You need to open up.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm glad you mentioned books. You're also a HarperCollins published author of 13 novels, which is outstanding. Congratulations. Hats off to you.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. How does storytelling influence the way you design games?
Oh, well, I would say the storytelling gave mindset that I could. Because I had, when you're writing, I go back to the first book I wrote. And first book I wrote called, it was about a character who passes as a white person because he feels that he's going to get certain advantages trained to be white. His skin complexion was light enough to pass, so he went ahead and passed. And so from my first book, and once you get over critics, I would say my writing helped get over whatever people would say about the game, because the game is not going to be perfect, right? Because someone can look at the board and say, oh, you don't have this location, this landmark would have been important to have, right? Because everyone has, when people look at something completed, they always have something in their mind what they think needed more. And so my writing world, I've discovered that so many times when people would want to rewrite your books for you, right? This character should have did this. They should have did that. Oh, I don't like that character, whatever, right? And early on, they're like, okay, crazy. But then you start realizing that you write your own book. It's fine. That's fine. Yeah. But a lot of people want to rewrite your stuff tailored to what their need. And that's fine if, they feel, if they want to go write their own stuff, they want to, create their own board game. That's more the merrier. I mean, I think we need more and more of us out there doing.
Yeah, I've never really took that approach when it came to stories or games. Putting myself in the creator's shoes, saying I would have did this, I would have did that, because I'm more so of a consumer than someone trying to rewrite someone else's work. And maybe that's just me. I didn't realize people were out there doing that. Saying, maybe this character.
I appreciate you.
Yeah. and just more so of a consumer just enjoying someone else's creation. Was there a particular moment where you realized Black Blocks was bigger than entertainment? And if so, how did that impact you personally?
I would say board all put fate cards done. And I'm talking about the original. I mean, of course, I've done edits to get it to the point as well, but I'm talking about the original. And at that point, I realized this could be way, and it's not about the financial part of it. Just in regards to the legacy. People understand the conversation that can be built from it. People sharing people talking about it, people learning more, and this being more of a springboard for, far as for Black Student Union, for HBCUs, for different organizations, NAACP, you name it, as far as for them to champion it well, would be something that's huge. But I think that's where I look at the impact more of a national that grows into a global, because we're moving into a global world anyway.
Yes. And we have more young people right now being curious about things that are no longer spoken about. And
Yep.
they want to know why.
Yep. I know why.
Why is life like this? And I'll go to say that Black Blocks feel like part game, part movement. This may spark some. I know it's going to spark some road trips, because there's some landmarks and things I didn't even realize were there that I want to physically see for myself. But it does feel like this is part of a movement, like something can shift in our family's perspective on not only education, history, financial aspects, but just life in general. Do you see this evolving beyond a single product?
Oh no, definitely. I mean, when I'm looking at different versions of it as well. I'm looking at doing Black Blocks Africa as well.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm looking at doing like different versions. Black Blocks business. Stuff where I can add value to the minds of the kids of the future. So for me, that's what I'm gearing toward, doing more and more those type of games that can elevate people's minds to think bigger, to think about the past and how can I make life bigger? How can I make my community bigger? How can I make my community better? How can I connect my community? How can we build a bridge with Africa as well, right? And because once again, we don't know much about Africa.
Nope.
Most people's impression of Africa isn't good, and most Africans' impression of us isn't good.
Right.
There's a huge disconnect. And I've been to South Africa. I've been to Egypt, and
Wow.
and I tell you, I said it's beautiful when you go over. But a lot of us don't go over. I went over for my birthday, and me and my brother, we go over to where Nelson Mandela lived.
Wow.
And man, we not this is what just like museum of his house. So we go over to his house, and it was a house next to the house was where Desmond Tutu well, right? And so it's over in Soweto. So we get over there, man, the car pulls up and people swarming. And then we're nervous, but we had a driver. We get out the car. They start singing "Welcome Home, Brothers." And it was such welcome. It was like they embraced us, appreciative that we came, and like all of these things. It was just a sight to see that, something I'm gonna cherish for the rest of my life. But it was more people we have to start connecting and bridging the gap. Because you gotta think, most races have a home to go to. Most Black people in America don't have a home. You got Japanese, they can go to Japan. Chinese, they go to China. Mexicans go to Mexico. If you're from Irish, you go to Ireland. You got all these different people. They got a home country. Mm-hmm. Most Black people who been here from slavery on, they have no real connection. So we can't really say, "Oh, I can go home to Africa." We have no real connection.
That's true. Yeah.
So we have to basically somewhat start from scratch on building that connection, building the motherland, and become one with it. I mean, it won't be overnight, but it can be built.
Definitely. Speaking of being built, how long did it take you, or how long was the process to get Black Blocks to its final stage?
I would say about 8 months.
Wow, that's pretty quick. It's pretty quick. And when you got the final product back, how did it make you feel?
Man, it became real.
Did you get nervous?
Yeah, man, I'm gonna tell you. I became nervous. I'm looking at the board. I'm up here making sure I didn't misspell something. I'm like, oh man, it became real quick. And so it was special though. It was special. Yeah. I felt great, but it was some nervous energy.
No turning back now, David.
No, not now.
It's just ready now. So, if a young person sitting at home right now feels disconnected from their history, uncertain about their future, or even lacking confidence in themselves, what's one truth you want Black Blocks to teach them that could, really change their mindset?
I would say, man, they're not alone. And I think what Black Blocks does is it brings the community together in regards to of a lot of people who, guess what? They're in the same place. And I know this is a board game and we're talking about people's serious lives and things that happen. But I think a lot of times community can embrace each other, even game, and connect with each other. It's kind of like when I was growing up. I mean, I connected with a lot of people going to the Boys and Girls. And some of those people, I kept in contact with for till now. And so it's different ways to build a community. It's different ways to connect with people. And I think Black Blocks does help connect people together. And I think a young child coming of age help them in building foundation, knowing where they come from, and knowing that, hey, you know what? Whatever you're thinking is possible to do. People before you have done it. People that people have forgotten about have done it, and you can do the same thing. And I think it could be inspiring as well for someone young to know that, hey, you know what? All these Black people created things. I didn't know that. Because if you go in a world where you think everything is created by white people, then you're going to feel like you're already defeated. And so now this shows kids that, hey, you know what? We've created a lot. A lot of the things that's going on in this world that people use daily, we created. And so far as for a kid see that, it should inspire them to say that, you know what? I can do it.
You can do it too. David, where can our listeners connect with you on the internet and check out more information about Black?
Go to blackblocksgame.com. BLACKBLOCKSGAME game.com. That's where you can reach it.
And listeners, just in case you need that link, no worries. I will have it in the description of this episode and in the show notes. So all you guys have to do is just click. All right, Black Blocks isn't just about rolling dice or collecting spaces. It's about knowledge, identity, conversation, strategy, and empowerment through learning. David E. Rogers has created something that doesn't just entertain families, it challenges them to think deeper, talk openly, and build stronger foundations for future generations. So make sure you visit blackblocksgame.com to learn more about the game, the mission, and everything coming next from Black Blocks LLC. Thank you so much, David. This isn't just radio. This is Revival.
For having me.
Absolutely, man. It was a pleasure. I definitely I don't need to talk to my wife about this, but I just wanted to let her know that we got something new coming that we got to put into rotation.
Definitely,
yeah.
Man. Hey, I can't, man. Send me videos, send me pictures. Definitely, I want to see.
Hey, we are definitely a competitive family, and we play board games on Friday nights and eat world's famous nachos while we're doing it. So
I see.
I gotta plug that every time. All right, David. Thank you so much, man. It was a pleasure having you.
Hey, thank you, man.
Peace to all. My name is Whodini, and I am the host of Vigilantes Radio Live. I think that we are beyond just asking cool questions and getting cool responses. I think that we are here as creatives to provide an example that you can do things different outside of expectations, because some of us simply were not born into the club, but there is perhaps a door, window, or back gate that we can leave a clue for you to get into. Life is short, but there are plenty of moments to try and get it right. Pursuing your dreams and learning from mistakes may be tough, but regret is tougher. To book your interview, email us at vradio@onlyonemediagroup.com. That's a V as in victorious, or visit onlyonemediagroup.com. I'm counting on you. Heaven, we all are counting on you to step into your purpose and your passion. You are listening to Vigilantes Radio Live on iHeartRadio, providing you with an opportunity to dive deeper.
You are now listening to Vigilantes Radio, the people's choice for quality interviews, art, music, and hot topics. Hosted by Demetrius Whodini Blak Reynolds. All episodes of this podcast are available for free download at www.onlyonemediagroup.com.